What's going on, everyone? My name is Kat Walsh, and thanks for tuning in to Catching Up with Kat. Today it's just going to be me, and I wanted to come on and share my story about getting into real estate and also share all the steps that it takes to become an agent if you are interested yourself. I've had a lot of people reach out to me asking like where I went for my training and all the steps and stuff like that. So just going to go over some stories and share all that it takes to become a real estate agent and why I decided to get into the business. So me personally, my entire life, my dad has been a broker. He's had his own brokerage. It was Remax Pros. Now we're Top Flight Professionals out of Westlake, Ohio. So having him doing that, I was always kind of curious. You know, I have three sisters and none of them really had any interest in it ever, but I was in car sales for a little while, then power sports sales, and I kept asking my dad here and there, like, what do you think? Like, do you think it's something that I could do? You think it's something I would like? Like, tell me a little bit more about it. And he's always like the practical guy. So he's always setting me up for what bad could happen, I guess. So getting into it in the beginning, if you don't have like people lining up at your door trying to buy houses from you or sell their house for them, it is a struggle. You know, you got to work your sphere of influence. You got to get leads if you can, reach out to your friends to try and, you know, get business here and there. But it's definitely a struggle. You could go months without getting paid, stuff like that. So he just kind of set me up for the reality of it all, which I appreciate. So I think it was end of 2021, I really sat down with him and I was like, Dad, I want to like do this. So the first step, in my opinion, for becoming an agent is to find a brokerage. So regardless, you're going to need one before you can get licensed. You can start the course and the training without a brokerage, but I suggest you get one first, just so you're established somewhere, you know where you're going to work. You for sure have a broker you can work with and stuff like that. So me and my dad got together, decided, let's do this. And here I am. So I searched up like training courses, and Hondros is a very popular one here in Ohio. And I also found Davis College, Davis, Davis College. And I found like a bunch of discounts through there. So their courses range from $14.99 all the way up to $17.95. But I ended up getting the fully loaded one for around $1,250. So they always have deals going on, and I ended up going that route. They also have the option to go to a facility and do like in-person classes, more of like a school type setting, or you can choose to do it remote from home whenever you want. So I was working full time at the time. I was selling cars, and I didn't have the availability to go to the in school. So I chose the online one, and that worked for me. It just took me a little bit longer to get through it because I had time, you know, after work, not really before work, like days off and stuff like that. I have my daughter, so I have her all the time. So it took me a little while to complete, but I did it, and it's a 120-hour course. You have to complete all of that. There are like four different packages, I want to say. One's like the basic one. It's like the bare minimum. But with the fully loaded one, I am not a test taker by any means. Like I fail tests. I can't really focus, stuff like that. So the fully loaded one will like prepare you to pass. Like it gives you the 20-hour post-licensing classes that you'll have to take after you pass. So I just thought it was better to go ahead and get the fully loaded one. So I finished that. And then after you finish that, you have to apply for your license. So you're going to have some papers that I went through with my dad, and he helped me with this too because he is my broker. And we did a background check. You have to go get a background check and your fingerprints done. And if you have a sort of criminal record, like felonies or certain things, you might want to check before getting into this just to make sure you'll be able to get licensed. Because I know there are certain backgrounds and stuff they won't accept, but talk with a broker or an attorney and get some legal advice, because I'm not 100% sure. I just know certain things they won't allow. So you have to apply for the license, get your background check, pass all of that good stuff, and then you can sign up to take your test. And they use a software called PSI, and I don't know if they still do. I was doing all of this when like proctors, like at home, you could take it at home on your computer, or you can go to a testing center. So I don't know if they still have the option to do it at home, but I chose to do it at home because I feel like I could focus better there. And it took me 3 times. Okay, let me tell you. So the first time I tried, you have to pay a fee, then you take the test, and like you do this whole thing on the proctoring at home. And I just was not fully prepared. I'm like, I don't need the practice tests. I'm just going to do it and whatever. I'm telling you, buy all of the practice tests if you're a bad test taker. Like, take them over and over and over again until you're like 90% or above, just to be safe, because that was a big mess up I made and just wasting money. Every time you have to retake it, you have to repay, re-put in your application, stuff like that. So the second time I was doing it, the proctoring, and when you're doing it from home, you have someone watching you from your webcam. So they're watching to make sure you're not cheating and stuff like that. So I'm on my laptop, right? And it was so dumb. At the bottom, like toolbar on my laptop, there's like a weather tab. My mouse went over the weather tab like very briefly, and it popped up a tab. The proctor shut down the whole quiz and canceled it and failed me. And I was like, oh my God, like what? I wasn't even like halfway through, and they thought I was cheating by looking at the weather. I don't know. It's a touchy system maybe, but the final time I took it, I was like, okay, I'm getting rid of this toolbar. I'm not like going to worry about this. I'm just going to focus on the test. And let me tell you, you submit it, and then like it takes you to a little like buffering screen. You sit there and you wait, and then it says pass. And I was living in an apartment at the time. I like screamed at the top of my lungs. I'm like, yes, like thank God. And it was amazing. Like, it's hard. It really is a hard test, especially if you're not a good test taker. So that was something that was huge for me, and finally made it. After you pass, what happens after you pass? I'm trying to think. Your broker will get notified. You'll get a certificate, and then it takes some time to actually get your license, like your license number and stuff like that. But then you're ready to rock and roll. After you do get licensed, you have to complete a 20-hour post-licensing course which I took it through Davis College, because I got it initially when I bought my whole course. So with the state test, it is 120 questions, and you have 180 minutes to complete it. There are 2 parts, the state and I can't remember the other half, but there's 2 parts. Say you only fail one, you only have to retake the one that you failed. So I thought that was pretty cool too. So just to pass the exam, I believe it's 70%. You have to get 70% or above. So just study, buy the practice tests if you're not a test taker, and just redo them over and over. I don't care if you have to do them 40 times. Like, after failing the first time, I hunkered down, and I just kept retaking them over and over again. So that really helped me doing the PSI practice tests, because the other ones were not really in the same format and didn't really help me as much. But yeah, I've been licensed, I believe, I officially got my license at the end of November 2022, or it was the beginning of December. But ever since then, I had a listing. I helped some sellers. It was actually a family friend of ours sold their house, and I've been working with a couple different buyers. I'm honored to be working with my best friend buying her first home. So that has been amazing. And it's been awesome to go through the whole process and have my dad as my mentor. He's been doing this like almost 34 years, I believe. So having him and all of his experience has made it just that much better. Real estate can be a great living. I looked up the average salary of an Ohio real estate agent, and it's $101,000 a year, and that's just average. So if you're a hustler, if you're out here, promoting yourself and grinding every single day, you can easily make way more than that. So it's a good career. It's a great career, especially if you aren't good at the 9 to 5, hunkered down at a desk. That's another reason I love it, because I kind of can make my own schedule, and having the freedom, to get some more stuff done in the day, it helps a lot too. So I'm really, really happy with my choice in becoming a real estate agent. I'm very excited to see where the future takes me. And I'm also looking forward to helping anyone with any questions they have. I've had quite a few people reach out to me just asking like, hey, Kat, like, what does it take to become an agent? Hey, Kat, can I be an agent if I have a felony of this sort? Or like, hey, Kat, let's work together and team up. And I'm like, yes, girl, I'm all for that. I'm all for, teaming up. And even if you're not in real estate, like, hit me up. With this whole podcast thing, I want to bring on guests. I'm going to be bringing on a lot of my entrepreneur friends, business owners, people that do trades, people that are in real estate. I'm looking forward to thriving together and sharing stories and having fun with this. So this one today is just a little more formal, talking about real estate, how to get into the business, my story getting into the business. And in the future, next week, on our next episode, I'm going to be bringing on a guest speaker, and we're going to make some things fun, exciting. And thank you guys so much for being here so far. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, I'd greatly appreciate all the feedback you have. And don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts or videos. And I will see you guys next week.